What is going on, everybody? It's Jet Central coming back with another video, and I'm actually out here in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. Okay, I decided to make the trip up, get a first-hand look at these prospects. I mean, you guys know me. You guys know I don't like to go off of what other people are saying. I try to formulate my own pre-draft evaluations, thoughts, and opinions on each prospect. So what better way than to, come to the Senior Bowl? So I did, and day one just wrapped up. And the North team, there's two teams. The North team is coached by John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders coaching staff, and the South team is coached by Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49er coaching staff. Now, a few guys that really stood out to me, I would probably say the top two defensive backs from the Miami Hurricanes, Johnson and Redwine. Both of those guys looked really, really good today in one-on-one drills and in the overall team drills as well. Both of those guys really flashed. Hunter Renfrow, the wide receiver from Clemson, was making plays left and right. UMass has a wide receiver. His last name is Isabella. I actually did not know him going into the Senior Bowl. He's a shorter guy, but he's tough. He has great hands, a quick little guy, but he was making plays all day. He definitely helped his stock major today. I mean, this guy, I take pride in watching watching college football and knowing these prospects and getting an idea of how these guys play, what they're good at, what they're bad at. But I actually did not know Isabella at all. But yeah, he was making plays all day. So switching over to, some of the quarterbacks, Ryan Finley, he kind of had an average day in my opinion. I wasn't blown away. Will Grier kind of struggled as well. And then Tyree Jackson's, he's an interesting case study when you look at him, because he's a guy who, you watch highlights, you watch tape of him when he was at Buffalo. He's the quarterback, or he was the quarterback over at Buffalo University, and you would see like these crazy highlight plays and stuff like that because of his size, but it doesn't really hit you until when you see him on the field. And the guy's 6'7", I think he looked around like 230, 240 pounds. The guy was huge, okay? And he was actually impressing me with his velocity on the football. And he was accurate downfield, which I like. Now, he did airmail a few shorter passes, and his mechanics aren't the best. They're like kind of mechanical and clunky. And he is kind of a clunky quarterback, but it's because of his size. But Tyree Jackson's a guy who, and I was saying it all day to the people next to me. I actually had D. Filippo, the Jags OC, sitting behind me, and I actually had the opportunity to meet Greg Roman, OC over at Baltimore, and a few other guys here and there, Mike Vrabel. But I kept saying, Tyree Jackson, he's a guy, if you're a quarterback's coach, if you're an offensive coordinator, you just want Jackson in your room because there's so many things. The potential is just through the roof. Now, like I said, he does have some red flags here and there. His mechanics aren't the best. Smaller school Buffalo, this and that. But all in all, he's a prospect with a really high upside. Probably going to be round 6, round 7 guy if he's drafted at all. So moving on, we got Ant Johnson, another Buffalo player, wide receiver over at Buffalo. Anthony Johnson, he was making plays. Tyree Brady started, he's a wide receiver that was with the Miami Hurricanes, but transferred to Marshall. He's a guy I watched a lot of his senior season with the Thundering Herd. He started the day off a little slow, but then he really picked up as the day went on. I really like that about it. Or about him, excuse me. Moving on, I mean, who else? I mean, there was a lot of guys that were out there making plays. I guess we could keep on talking about some of the quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew, he showed some accuracy. Because you look at Minshew, he doesn't really have the size, he doesn't really have the arm strength, he doesn't really have a lot of the prototypical NFL traits, physical traits that you want in a quarterback. But he's accurate downfield. He reminds me a lot of a poor man's Baker Mayfield. He's mobile, he gets the guys rallied up. Really similar throwing mechanics as well and release. So Minshew's a guy who I like. He reminds me of a poor man's Baker Mayfield. They have a lot of the same strengths to their game. Really, really similar players as far as what they can do. I just feel like Minshew's just at a little bit of a smaller level, if you will. But yeah, I mean, day one was really good. It was cold. I'm from Florida. I'm not really used to this cold weather, and it was raining too. Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. Those are actually the other two big name quarterbacks that were here today. Drew Lock, I thought, played okay. He didn't do anything that kind of showed me anything new. I kind of knew what I was going to get from Drew Lock. He was going to, command well, obviously, number one, he has arm strength, right? Everybody knows he has arm strength and stuff like that. So he was pushing the ball. But as far as Drew Lock's day went, he just pretty much did what everybody knew. You know, he pushed the ball, he threw the ball with velocity and zip on it, but he didn't really do a lot of other things that he didn't really answer my questions, basically. And then Daniel Jones is another guy, really big kid, powerful arm, kind of has funky mechanics. He had weird mechanics at Duke, but today it looked a little bit more normal. I don't know if he's number one been working on him or number two. Maybe it's because I'm seeing him in person a little bit, but it's more over the top, which I like. And at Duke, it was just a little weird. He reminded me a lot of Brock Osweiler when he was at Duke. But, you know, Daniel Jones is a guy who I kind of went in questioning a lot. I'm not 100% sold on Daniel Jones, not in the least. But after today, he definitely built a solid day one foundation, I guess. So I really cannot wait to see what he's going to do in day two. But all in all, it was a great day. I got to be honest, I preferred the South practice. And going into it, on paper, the North team has a better roster, right, just as far as names on paper go. But I was riveted by the South practice. I just loved how Kyle Shanahan conducted the whole thing. He's just a genius. So day one, it's in the books. Day two's tomorrow. We got I believe the North kicks things off, and then it's going to be transitioning to the South. So, oh, real quick, and I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that hit me back on Instagram. I threw up a little quick Instagram story saying that I was going to be here, and just to keep it, you know, asking everybody who they wanted me to keep an eye on. Just want to shout everybody out. Just want to say give a quick thank you, and just to quickly say that, you know, you guys are the best. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.